Yeah.
Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Yeah, I know I introduce myself every week because you never know, where a person starts and what they're looking at to see what the journey is all about. So, what is Embracing the Fight all about? It's designed to help normalize the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. And everybody knows nobody wants to hear, other people's problems in a sense because they're so busy worried about their own or the issues that they have and being judged about them. So why not normalize the conversation and just help others to get along with whatever it is that you may have already made it through? So in that, I've been sharing my journey with thyroid cancer and any other medical issues that have come up. And lately, it's been quite a few. So I want to give you guys an update today about how my journey with thyroid cancer is going. If you recall a few episodes back, I talked about getting radioactive iodine, and I actually went in for a consultation because it's a lot more, to it than what you would normally think. So let me give you an idea, of what I'm talking about. So I went into the nuclear medicine facility and had a conversation with two doctors, a nurse, and a technician that explained the entire process to me. And I'll just be honest, at first I was like, goodness, does it take all that? I thought it was just, you take a couple of pills, stay away from people for 3 days, and that's it. Well, apparently not. Because I was thinking, that I'd be able to go ahead and do this, as soon as possible. However, if you recall, around the 4th of July, I was in the hospital. Well, while I was in the hospital, there were a series of tests that were done. They were trying to figure out, exactly what was going on, where was all the pain coming from, what was causing it. And in the process, they did, a couple of CT scans and they did, a couple of MRIs. And when they do those CT scans and MRIs, in this case, they had a contrast dye that they use. Well, I didn't know that contrast dyes contain iodine. Okay. So in talking to the nurse and in talking to the doctors, the one who will be really leading, the treatment, he basically initially said I had to wait 6 days, in order to do the treatment. However, when they looked at, all my information, they figured out, oh no, you had a CT scan, you had an MRI, you had contrast dye in your system. Well, it takes 3 months for it to get out of your system in order to determine whether or not the radioactive iodine that they give you is effective, right? Because the good thing, about thyroid cancer is the fact that it's basically killed off by iodine. So radioactive iodine, that is. And that's the only cells that it actually kills. It kills your thyroid cells, whatever's left behind, because you know that the surgeon is not a butcher. They don't go in and trim the fat. They don't trim anything to make it look nice, neat, and clean. They basically get the majority of what's causing your problem out, and that's it. So whatever is left behind is what has to be treated with the radioactive iodine. So let me tell you a little bit more, about the conversation that I had. Okay. So my nurse, she was extremely pleasant, very, very knowledgeable, very caring individual. And she was asking, okay, there are all these questions that, they have to ask you, like, are you going to be around kids? Are you going to be around pregnant women? Are you going to be around other people? Will you be able to be isolated, for 2 days? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can do that. Like if I take the pills on a Friday, then I won't be around people Saturday, Sunday. Friday, I just got to get out of where I am to get away from these folks, not get on elevators, not stop at the grocery store, can't go by the mailbox, none of that kind of stuff. I have to totally isolate myself because I don't want to harm anyone with the radioactivity that my body will be giving off, which is especially harmful to small children and pregnant women. So I'll definitely stay away from those groups. And it's not like you can look at somebody and tell, if they're pregnant or not. So you try to be precautious and you try to just stay away from everybody, right? All right. So one of the things that she said that really, had my mind going a little bit, she was like, okay, after everything is over with, you need to have, these two garbage bags. One of the garbage bags is like for trash, and the other garbage bag is like for linen. So the linens and the trash, you'll basically put them in the garage or like on your back porch or somewhere that's, away from everyone. Make sure it's sealed, make sure it's closed, and you let it sit for 5 days. Then you take that trash and you can throw it away because the radioactivity is gone out of it, because this is not it's not like it has living cells or anything to where it can live and be, right? So you can throw that away. Then you can take those clothes that have sat there for 5 days, because it's not just your clothes, it's also your sheets. So I asked, I was like, well, do I need to get like a plastic cover, for my bed, for my mattress? And she was like, no, because it's going to make you sweat, even more. So what's happening is when you sweat, when you salivate, when you excrete any bodily fluids, the radioactivity is coming out there. So I don't really like sweat in my sleep, but I know if I put some plastic or something like that on my bed, I'll probably be stuck to it. Like, back in the day in the summers when you're at grandma's house and she had all her furniture covered with plastic. So no, I don't want to be like that. So I said, I'll just get one of those washable mattress covers and put that on there. And I'll just take it and put it in the same bag, with the linen. Well, another thing that she told me that was really interesting is that, they tell you we want you to eat right, we want you to exercise, all this stuff, just in general. But she said I can have sour candies because there's something about causing yourself to salivate to make, the radioactivity leave either through your urine or through your feces. So I'm going to be eating a mess out of some sour candies, but I know I can't eat too much of it depending on how my gallbladder might or might not like it. So I can also, eat lemons. I eat sour things that cause me to salivate. And then something else, that she was talking about, I kept asking because you all know that I do desire to have my own children, one day. And when I was telling her, I was still interested in having children, she was like, oh, well, they usually say 3 to 6 months. And I was like, well, one doctor told me a year. She was like, oh, well, just, ask the doctor, once he gets on the line and he can explain it all to you. And I asked him how long I have to wait. He was like, oh, no more than 6 months. Everything should be, fine after that. Just make sure you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're doing all the things necessary to get yourself to a healthy weight, and you get yourself to where your body, can sustain a pregnancy, because, I see you are over 40 years old. And he's like, there's always a possibility, there's always risks, but if you calculate those risks, then 9 times out of 10, you can have a successful pregnancy. So I was extremely, excited about that. But then the other side of it is like, well, where am I get the dude from? But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So, the other thing that we talked about that I thought was pretty interesting was it's a multi-step process. So the very first day that I would go there, they would give me like a low dose of the radioactive iodine just to see where it goes, in the body. So they do like a baseline CT scan where they look and they see where it went to see where, the thyroid cancer has traveled to, right? So that would be on that on that Wednesday, I believe, because it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So then on one of the on that Wednesday also, there is an injection of thyrogen, and the thyrogen that they're putting in is basically putting me into a state where it's like I have no thyroid hormone in my body, because if you have thyroid, hormone in your body from where you've been taking in, the pills, that radioactive iodine is going to be looking at that as something that they need to cure. So you need to get that out your system too. And she was like, you got to do one cheek at a time. And I was like, oh, wait now. So I had to get stuck. She was like, yeah, you left cheek, right cheek. And with that, being said, it's like, okay, so I got to get 2 shots. I got to take this low dose pill. And then on Friday, they will give me the extremely high dose of the radioactive iodine. And from that point, then I have no, interaction with other people. But one of the other things that I saw, they gave me this book, and the book shows the radioactive iodine, well, not radioactive iodine, the low iodine diet. Low iodine diet. So I'm sitting here thinking, that's probably nothing but fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, things of that nature. But no, they actually had some really good, recipes in there. And now I have an idea of what I need to get in order to prepare, those 3 days that I'll really be, virtually by myself, because I'm actually not planning on venturing out, from the time that I get the shot in those 2 days, that I'm not supposed to be around anybody at all. I don't plan on being around anybody anyway, because I know, the impact that this could have on another person. And I don't want to do that to anyone, even if I do it unknowingly. So now I'm looking at this low iodine diet, and I'm like, oh, this is going to help me reach my weight goals too, because some of that stuff, I was just like, I don't eat that, but willing to try it. We're going to try it. And I'll share some of these recipes with you. Now, I'm not going to show you what it looks like when I cook it, because I am not the prettiest cook when it, comes to it. It tastes good, but it might not look as good as it should look. Now, sometimes, it looks all right, but I'm not a pretty cooker. I will cook and it will be delicious, but it's not going to be on Paula Deen's channel or the Food Network or anything like that. It's not going to be like that, but I'll be able to eat it. So there's a lot of things, that I have to really sit down and think about and put in order. So I've already started, I talked about decluttering my home, and that was one of the, hardest kind of emotional things for me. Not because, I have this problem with letting stuff go. It's nothing like that. It's just that everything that I started to look at, it had a memory, it had a thought, it had something in it. And then there were things coming to my mind like, why'd you wait so long to do this? And, you feel so much better when your home is organized. My home is neat and it's clean. I know where things are, but I had so much of, like, for instance, I opened up the cabinet under, my counter, my sink in the bathroom, and I had like 6 or 7 tubes of Nair. I was like, what am I gonna do with that? Because I don't use that Nair anymore, because I did, and goodness, it was like not what I expected it to do. I ended up having to get waxed anyway. So, it was little things like that I was like, okay, why do I have so much of so many things? Like, I was finding 5 and 6 different types of combs, or the same kind of brush, the same type of body scrub, different types of salt scrubs. It was so much of it. It's like, I'm only one person. I don't need all this stuff. I don't need all these candles. I don't need, all this stuff. But now that I know I have it, I don't have to keep going out to buy this stuff, right? Because I did throw a bunch of stuff away that had expired. And now it's like I have room under here, but I'm not trying to put anything in there to take up the space. Because I realize that we have to have space in our lives to let things actually come in. Because if your life is already full, how can you expect to invite, anything or any person or, something greater to come into your life if your life's already full? So with that being said, I got a little bit more inspired, but then I started thinking, I was like, well, if I do all this now, what am I going to do when I'm trapped in here by myself for 3 days? Well, that's the other thing. So when it comes to writing, I love to write. absolutely love to write. However, I haven't taken the time to finish a book that I've been writing, to finish, like, it was like a movie slash play that I was writing, but it's extremely interesting. Haven't seen any storylines, like this. And I was like, I need to go ahead and I need to finish this. So maybe that's what I'll be doing, when I'm trapped at home and can't go anywhere, can't, really do anything. But then I know me, I might just lay down and take a nap because who knows, what this radioactive iodine is actually going to feel like, in my system. So I know that I have to reach out to my support system, let them know, what I've done, how it's, progressing, how I'm feeling, all that. I have to make sure that if I start feeling in any adverse way, that I need to call my nurse. I need to call, the doctor. I need to call someone and tell them this isn't something that I've ever done before. But the nurse, like I said, she was so compassionate. She was basically saying, if you start feeling different than yourself, like if you're nauseous, if you're dizzy, if you're these things, she was like, here, you can call 911, but also call us and let us know so we can make sure that you're properly taken care of. So it's like I'll be calling 911 saying, hey, I'm a little radioactive. I need somebody to come, help me and pick me up or whatever, because I just had radioactive iodine. I'm feeling weird. But I'm not speaking that in my life. I'm just saying, what would that 911 call really sound like? Right? I don't know. Anyway, so there were several other things that she told me. She even gave me, a piece of paper with reminders on it, like times and dates and what to be eating, what not to be eating, to make sure I'm hydrating and not taking any vitamins. Like, oh man, why can't I take vitamins? Same thing. The only thing I can take is the medication, that I'm currently prescribed. The multivitamins have to go because of the fish oil, and so many other things. But it's not like I was taking them like I was supposed to anyway. I stopped taking them, honestly, when I had surgery in December because of the anticoagulative properties that those vitamins actually had. So it's like you can't take Eliquis and take these vitamins and, have surgery. So I just stopped taking them for a while. And when I started doing my, organizing, I found that I got 3 more boxes of them. 3. And those boxes each are like, I don't know, $80 because it's 30 of those packets that you take from GNC, their women's multivitamin. And I think I'm just going to go ahead, and give them to my aunt and I have to, get them over there to her. But either way, they won't go to waste. They won't expire, none of that because she can actually take them. I can't, take them at the moment. And I don't want to get them to a point where they do expire. All right. So something else that I was talking about that I was kind of concerned about. I was like, well, I was also having some issues with my gallbladder, and then I have a fatty liver too. So it's like, do I really have gallbladder problems? So I was telling this to the nurse, and she started telling me how she was having gallbladder issues, when she was pregnant. But she was like, to each his or her own. And she says, you should try. Well, she didn't tell me I should try. Let me back up before I allow this lady. I told her that I wanted to try, to change my diet and see what would happen. And she was like, well, when I was pregnant, I had these same, similar issues to what you're describing. And I changed my eating habits and I haven't had an issue since. And sure, if your gallbladder is like causing you issues each and every day, go ahead and have something done. Don't sit and wait because you want to do it when it's elective and not when it's an emergency. And the reason that I am more concerned about any type of surgery that I have is because now I have the knowledge of the fact that I have factor V Leiden. So every time that I have any type of surgery or anything, the risk goes up for complications, with blood clots. So that's why I would prefer not to have to do anything with my gallbladder. That's why I've been, eating a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, a lot of stuff like that. And I always kind of laugh because I'm like, man, my house smells like a petting zoo because I'm eating all this green stuff, right? But either way, I feel, so much better. I have so much, more energy. I feel more like myself now. And I'm glad that I started, eating this way. But I honestly wonder why did it have to take that? Like, why do I have such a spirit of procrastination when it comes to things like that? Because I think about it all day long. And I'll just be honest, I didn't have, this issue with procrastination until, it started really coming down to me looking, at my health. Like I could get on my bike and ride it every day. Like I have a bike that's right over here next to me that I can get on and ride, inside the house, rain, too hot outside, whatever, I can get on a bike, but I look at it and be like, and I won't get on it because I'm procrastinating and I don't know why. So I decided today that instead of procrastinating, I was going to just do it, just see, what happens if a thought comes in my head to just go ahead and do it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised because I was like, I could have been doing this. I didn't need anyone for this or for that. I didn't need this level of motivation for this or for that because I had to learn how to encourage myself. So I'm saying to you, if you're out there and you want to do better, you want to become better, you have to start just doing it. You can't sit there and think about it and make the greatest plan for it, especially not if it's your health. You need to go ahead and start being proactive because now you're going to see, an even greater change in me because I'm having to do this low iodine diet. And now I'm just jumping on a bike riding it just to say, okay, I can do this. My joints don't bother me anymore. And I'm not tired. It's like eating this way is slowly helping, to heal my body from the inside out. And it's not any medication that I'm taking, it's the food that I'm eating. So the earth, I believe, produces what can heal you. So, you know, I'm gonna let you guys know, the results of what my liver comes back, what the blood work says about my liver and my gallbladder later on down the line. Because, like I said, I don't feel the way that I felt the day that I went to the ER. I was feeling that way because I think maybe it was the tacos that did it. I don't know. But I ate a whole bunch of junk, that day. And then my gallbladder might have just been like, man, get this. Let me get out of here. Who knows? But either way, it's calmed down. I don't have any issues anymore. And I feel more normal than I have felt in a very, very long time. So listen to your body, take action. Don't just sit there. Go forward, do what you have to do to make yourself feel better because you've only got one you. Thank you so much for taking time out today to watch Embracing the Fight. I'm just asking, can you send this video to somebody? Can you share it? Can you get them to subscribe to the channel? Because I want this message to reach as many people as possible because we can heal one life at a time. And you know what? We can get even more if I have your help. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.